Hello, good afternoon, everyone. So, as already been introduced, I'm Maureen, and I'm from Ghana Meteorological Agency. And as the name sounds, I'm actually from Ghana. And today I'm standing here to do a presentation on the global hydrological status and outlook system. And I'll give you a case study for Ghana. And before I start, I'd like to extend my appreciation to WMO and then to Basin for giving me this platform and opportunity to do this presentation. So just a bit about my institute or my organization. We are actually a government institute established to provide weather and climate services to save life and property. And also in doing that, we have to ensure that all our services or whatever we do within the country with relation to meteorology meets the international standards. And our vision is to become one of the lead meteorological service provider within the sub-region. And we're working through our mission to be able to provide effective weather and climate services to help in our socio-economic development. Currently, our staff strength is about 539, and our services ranges from the public weather. We provide a seasonal forecast. We provide marine and inland water because of the Volta Basin. We are hosting a bigger portion of the Volta Basin. We also provide the hydrological information or service. Under the research, someone will ask why research is service. So our seasonal forecast is actually from the research department. Currently, we're also working on new products like the sub-seasonal and the climate alert or the climate projection. We also have the numerical weather prediction department where we are running our weather and research forecasting model. And also, we recently just started running the wave of theory also to support our marine services. And the last but not the least, data, as we are all talking about, serves as a foundation to all these services. So we also provide climate data to our local partners as well as to the global community. And we use the various platforms for circulation. So we all know climate change and its impact is actually with us, and we are experiencing it, especially for the flood and droughts, affect us so much with respect to our population growth and our socioeconomic activities. And these impacts, as you mentioned, pose a threat to our water security, which angle we look at it from. If we have too much rains, it gives us a challenge. If we don't even have the rains in place too, it gives us challenge. So through this, how to be able to address this, WMO has brought this initiative out, which is the Global Hydrological Status Outlook System, and that's simply called the HydroSOS. So in 2016, the pilot, WMO has confirmed that or given approval for that pilot study to start. And subsequent Congress was still looking at that through strategic plans and then its implementation. But by 2021, the full implementation has been given for the pilot phase to move more now into operational implementation. So they are looking at it from the national, regional, and then at the global level, because we all know this impact is felt. There's no boundary, whether you're at the national level or at the global scale, it can all affect us. So now, what is this hydrological status outlook? It's simply about how we can be able to monitor and understand our water situation or water resource management with respect to our rivers, our lakes that we have within our country, and also we are looking at also at a ground base in terms of groundwater information. So this initiative is to help monitor. In doing, we need data to be able to drive all these activities so that we can be able to forecast from now to the sub-seasonal or seasonal scale, and then also to deliver a unique operational system providing up-to-date hydrological information, which will help us to know whether in situations that we are seeing now or in the future are they going to be worse than what we are seeing. And there are so many benefits to this that across all the sectors, even our individual lives, we all need water. So if we don't take proper care or we do not plan ahead of time or take care of what we are even having now, it will pose a challenge to us. And in all of this, even being at risk, there's both positive or opportunities out of this risk as well. So this map gives us the general outlook on what is happening on the continent, and our focus, as I mentioned, because I'm from West Africa, I'm going to focus towards what is happening in West Africa. So from the map, you can see the various countries, especially those who are hosting the Volta Basin, have started this hydrological status outlook system or the HydroSOS. But for the three countries above, they have kind of started producing some pilot cases. The others, as listed below per the legend, you can see from the presentation, they are still in the planning stage to be able to implement that. So for Nigeria, I think Nigeria and Ghana currently are a bit slightly ahead of our other colleagues. So we'll be able to do some pilot cases, and as you can see from the presentation, Nigeria also has a bigger basin also over their country, and they'll be able to generate some stream flow status outlook for about 5 rivers. And in June, the outlook is not much impacted, but you see from the October 2022, you can see an increase in terms of the stream flow status. But this is just a sample case. Mostly, as we can all see from the continent, our greatest challenge is data. And these field stations are selected because those are the areas that they can have a long-term data to be able to undertake this analysis. So what remains to the other areas that we do not have data? How do we resolve this? So this brings me back to what Ghana is also doing. So Ghana in 2022, we also held our first stakeholder workshop to engage our stakeholders on why this initiative is very important and how we can all work together. From the Tomorrow IO presentation, as mentioned by our UN General Secretary, we all need our hands on deck to be able to work. So we need to start the conversation with them to really know what they want and how we can be able to achieve those initial objectives for them. So in 2023, myself and one of my colleagues from the Ghana Hydrological Authority, we embarked on a visit to UK Center for Ecology and Hydrology, where we had about 5-day training on how we can start the implementation of the HydroSOS over our country. And also, as I mentioned, data is a challenge. So for now, we did a pilot case over just a portion of our Volta Basin, more focusing on the white Volta, which is the one in yellow, as you can see from the map. Because of the long-term data, some stations were not able to be used in this analysis. So we did some pilot analysis, and in doing that, this was done through a model that is called the LGR. It's actually built in R, but now wrapped in Python to be able to make it more easy and flexible for us to work and be able to generate some analysis out of it. It's good, but we realized that the skill of the output was not too good because we do not have enough data. So other information that are also needed is we can either use the observation data. There's also opportunity there for us to use the satellite. But the satellite is also not too reliable in the cases where we have tried them. And some of them also do overestimate based on some of the seasons, which means we still need the observation data to be able to really understand the system better and know where to fine tune, even if we have to apply the satellite, or when to be we have to regenerate this more of like a reanalysis or re-merge data from both observation and then the satellite data. So from the map, you are seeing just an output of the stream flow status that we have done over those areas that we selected over the basin. So in terms of the skill of the forecast that was performed, the observation tends to look much better than the satellite information. And as I mentioned, even if we have to rely on the satellite, we need the observation data to really help us to be able to know when and how to be able to use the satellite information. And you can see the skill up to about 3 weeks was okay for the observation. But in the month of May to about, let me say relatively, I guess, for the satellites, that performance was not so good. This is just a sample of what there are other areas that we try this output over, but this is one of the outputs from the one of the catchments. And when we doing this, there are other initiatives that are ongoing within the sub-region, which is also initiated by WMO and other partners. For example, the water, flood and drought management, and then the early warning and climate change adaptation projects ongoing also in the basin. They are also currently doing something over the basin monitoring in terms of the flood and drought. But this is focusing more towards the meteorological aspects in terms of monitoring the flood and drought. But when it comes to the hydrological aspects, there is little or much done in that area. So we think this HydroSOS initiative is a very good one to help us, because stakeholders also need this information. Even through this project, we also have a common database that we are sharing as an institution with respect to the three institutions that are involved in this project. That is the Ghana Hydrological Authority, the Water Resource Commission, and then GMET. We have a common base data now. So if we can be able to have good data, well transmitted and quality control in place, this data could be made available to be able to make this implementation, but not limited to this HydroSOS, but this can also be transmitted through the global telecommunication system to be used across the globe for other products as well. There's also another initiative by the DHI, which they also do this flood and drought portal, but more of them support the decision-making aspects. These are also things that can be integrated, but because it will not be left alone during the technical aspects, but the information is not properly communicated to the people. So this is also another initiative also going in the sub-region, which we see that it's a very good initiative that was has a good synergy with the HydroSOS. The last but not the least, as an example, I'm showing that there are many more, but the last but the least from my slide is on the West Africa, Central Africa flash flood and guidance system. And I was happy to hear the presentation from what the South African Met is doing. I could see they have already taken the lead. This is something new we are also going to start very soon within our country. And I think 2 countries have already started within the sub-region. But all we need the hydrological data also, in addition to back up the meteorological one, to make sure that we provide we are able to provide relevant information to help the users. So in the challenge that I was mentioning, one thing that also came critically was when MET institutions or MET stations are being mounted, they are not taken into consideration in where the hydrological stations are also mounted. So sometimes you could even have the data in place though, but they are not within the same catchment. So doing this comparison, using them to drive the model also tend to introduce some challenges in the results we are seeing. And so going forward, MET institutions or MET stations and then hydrological stations should be consciously mounted, especially when we are talking about understanding our hydrological basins or catchments. These stations have to be well mounted so that we can be able to get better results or good data to be able to drive our models and make products that are relevant to help users in their decision making. Another thing is we need capacity building. What we have so far is not enough. There's the need for more capacity building, and the station, as I mentioned, gaps are in there. We need more stations to be mounted, but these stations should be able to make data transmission or its collection as simple and processing much simpler also for use. So this brings me back to a case study of what happened last year in Ghana, and I'm sure most of you may have heard about it, that we had a flood over the lower portion of our water basin, that's not the Akosombo Dam, where our hydropower is mainly produced from. And I know we also share this information to other neighboring countries. And that has actually devastated a lot of areas within the basin. From the map, the second map, you can see the dark line showing the red pattern is the status of the river. And after the event has happened, that was the outlook. The meteorological aspects, the seasonal forecast was issued to give them an outlook of how the rainfall patterns would have been. But in terms of the hydrology they have done, but I think more could have been done if they have enough equipment or data well collected to also monitor the various status of how the catchment and things will be. Other aspects too is, there should be more collaboration within the institutions in terms of trying to help in decision making and applying policies to be able to drive this initiative. So if in reliable or relevant operational hydrological status outlook is in place and this information is well communicated ahead of time, we believe these impacts could have been less. Even if it will happen, the impact could have been less and lives or properties would have been saved. Even in terms of economic value that are going to be posted here to like taking or the aftermath events in terms of solutions that we are providing. If we can invest into this, making sure people receive early warning or information ahead of time, I think this will save us from what we have experienced now. So our next stage, we're looking forward to continue the collaboration with UK Center for Ecology and Hydrology to get some funding to make sure that this actually comes into real operation, and then with from now to the shortest possible future in time, we're looking forward that this information will be relevant or out for the users to use. And also, as I mentioned, we now have the MCH server as the Meteorological, Climatological, and Hydrological server in place. So in terms of storage, when we collect this data, at least we have something in place for us to use, which will make the implementation or the collection of data in storage over us also much easier. And the last but not the least, the collaboration is needed from every angle. We need all to work together to be able to make sure that whatever information or mandated responsibility we have as an institution to save lives and property, we are doing that work to make sure that our economy and our socio-economic development is still in place and make the environment safe for all to stay on this note. Thanks to WMO and the UKCH for supporting us on this initiative. Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Maureen. So we'll have our second presenter and then we'll see if there are any questions before we move on.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just testing. Yes, good afternoon, everyone. We'll take this presentation about the HydroSOS, and I'm going to focus on Lake Victoria. The reason also for this presentation, because in the coming phase, we may need the support of many organizations or many consultants to support the second phase. So this is, I think it's an important presentation to prepare us also for the next phase. Yes, these are the partnership, those are the local. Of course, WMO is the lead of this project with regional organizations like the Nile Basin Initiative and also EPFAC. This is the Climate Center for IGAD in Nairobi. And also we have Lake Victoria Basin Commission. And we have 5 countries, as you can see, Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Burundi, and Rwanda. And we have 2 focal points, but from each country we have 4 experts. My colleague, she already talked about what is HydroSOS. So here we are looking at strengthening country capacity across the hydrological value chain, and also to help produce standardized information on current state of water resources and forecast the situation for the next days or months. And we saw from the previous presentations that there are many organizations here who have good capacity in those areas. And here for us specifically, we are focusing on those 3 areas, linking here between monitoring and decision making. So here we would like to do some good work in the analysis, also modeling and forecasting of Lake Victoria. Lake Victoria, by the way, this is the second largest fresh lake in the world, and it is the biggest in Africa. Also would like to do some hydrological information and products in a standardized way, and also dissemination and communication. That is very important. And here we are linking the observation, as I said, with the informed decision making. But then after that, there are some other steps like improved water resources management, and also save lives, reduce losses, and some other benefits. This is what will HydroSOS provide here, an overview of the current hydrological status, but also an appraisal of where the current status is significantly different from normal, and also an assessment of whether this is likely to get better or worse in the future. And my colleagues already mentioned that. Here we will try to utilize national and local products, but also those regional products and global products in this HydroSOS, and to enhance here the services in these different levels. These are here in the background, these are some identified issues and gaps. These are the general issues, conflicts in water users, and here normally those conflicts, they are nationally and regionally. So at the national level, sometimes sub-catchment, industries and domestic water supply. At the regional level, also competition between hydropower generation and others like irrigation, fisheries, transport here, I mean navigation. Also water quality deterioration, like eutrophication, and also the water piping have this challenge over Lake Victoria. The recession of the lake to historical levels in the past, like the year 2006, but now we are suffering from the opposite, unprecedented rise of the water levels of Lake Victoria since 2020. Also, equitable use, and countries are interested They want equitable share of the benefits and also the over exploitation of the lake fisheries and flood in major cities and around the lakes. Here also are some general gaps which I identified in Lake Victoria Basin, accuracy of lake water balance, and here the rainfall contribution into the system, sometimes unknown, and we have different studies contradicting sometimes with each other. Also hydrodynamics of the lake, and the need for knowing also the optimal economic benefit out of the lake, and need for like scheduling this like hydropower, lake transport and fisheries, and need also for flood frequency information, maps, and also to improve the existing early warning systems and the resilience plan. We have like some lessons learned, and we have some specific also challenges here. Like I can say, lack of reliable national maybe infrastructure for real-time data transmission in some countries, or I can say limited in some areas. Data and information sharing, that is always a challenge. Even sometimes we have a sharing protocol between the countries. Health outbreaks, it disturb things sometimes. Currently, we are suffering from high water levels. We are looking for some opportunities related to the existing national global infrastructure models, and also existing telemetry to fill some gaps. Some requirements for this HydroSOS information. And I think here there are many organizations who can fill these gaps in the second phase, like provision of distributed satellite radar rainfall time series, and also ground monitoring station for rainfall, temperature, wind, and other parameters. Hydroeconomic analysis system to convert hydrology into economic decisions, because here it is not only about hydrology and monitoring the hydrology, but we want to convert it into economic decisions. And also IT infrastructure, still there is some gaps there. Modeling tools and human resources capacity building, institutional roles and involvement in this important project, and also existing data sharing protocol and the regional bodies like the MBI. We have that protocol, but still we have some challenges in sharing the data. But also like regional institutions here to support like applications of GIS and remote sensing in water resources management. So the presentation of ISRI in the morning. And another, this is like another entry point for collaboration in data access and training. We want to answer like some key like points here to develop also quantitative hydrology system, provision of hydrological products to the HydroSOS system, provision of tools to increase the services delivery to the end users. And also we are looking for like full participation of national and regional technical partners. I mentioned already those four like regional organization with 5 countries, capacity building activities, delivery of hydrological status, outlook products, modernizing this national hydrometeorological infrastructure, and also use of international standards, and establish also bilateral and regional horizontal communication between the countries and the regional organization, and also mainstream national water management issues in national budget cycle. And one of the things and the important thing now in the second phase is this funding mechanism and resource mobilization to do the second phase. Here, these are the added value, and here we can classify to 3 areas: technical development, service delivery, and also support activities. So these are the 3 added values of the HydroSOS system. For the first technical development, we are looking at the institutional like assessment, capacity assessment, and also method selection and forecasting approach, development and implementation of system, research, and in the second category here, the services delivery. This is an important area which related to the services and the products that we should provide to the countries and to the stakeholders, and also the decision support in this area. And the third category here, support activities. And here we are looking, as I mentioned, to the capacity building, training, and also institutional strengthening, advocacy, and communication, and project management. These are the partners and their roles in this important project. We are also considering gender in this project in terms of gender-related factors have the potential to influence the value of the hydromet. And of course, it is here when we look at SDG 5, and it links to gender, and also strengthening the capacity of women and men in hydromets, sensitive sectors, and also gender consideration and social dynamic will be considered in all aspects of this project. So gender is the key in this project. And here, this is the project sustainability and mitigation. It is very important. We have that existing gender policy framework, and also self-financing, not to depend only on those donors and development partners, but also to have that self-financing to support the ownership also of this project. Skills and tools, they are very important. And as I mentioned, project ownership by the countries and by the stakeholders. And also we need to have tangible benefits. We need to see tangible benefits, not theoretical solutions. Maintain and strengthen regional cooperation, also institutional leadership, and maintain the momentum of the process. This is the current development. I already touched these areas. Maybe I can jump this slide. Here we did some what I can call pre-operational portal. And here this is over Lake Victoria, which surrounded by those 5 countries. And here this is a first demonstration for the countries. How can they utilize the information, and how we can improve also this prototype. This is our work plan for 5 years, but also beyond the 5 years in terms of variables, in terms of services, spatial extent, regularity, sectors, and intended use. Thank you.
Okay, thanks to both our speakers.